Hello, it's Leslie here. Today I'm going to do another language update. So I continue to study Russian and I'm currently watching Servant of the People. That's the series with Zelensky, which is okay. And I'm about a quarter of the way through that. So that's going very well. Uh, I'm also watching a couple of new Italian series. Uh, Ones I started last night is 000, which is about like a drug shipment or something, and it's some parts are in English and some parts are in Italian. And I'm also watching a new series, Mas Antonio, which is like a detective series. It's a little bit strange though because this Mas Antonio one kind of speaks with the victims that are missing. So it's like they appear in his imagination or something. So I'm mainly interested in listening to Italian, and I think that's because, when I went to Italy, I went to Naples one time and I started talking with this guy, and I was dining alone and he was dining alone and he wanted to join me. So I didn't actually understand a word he was saying, and he was talking all throughout this meal, and I just didn't understand anything that he was saying. So one of my goals is to just be able to understand Italian, not to necessarily to speak it. I don't really have anything to say. So that's what my goals are in that language. And anyway, that's going okay. Um, yeah. I've also been studying some Finnish lately, focusing on Finnish as a new language. And because what happened was, as I started getting better with Russian and Italian and not looking up so many words anymore, more like an intermediate level, I kind of miss that beginning phase where you're looking up words and putting in a lot of study effort. I like looking up new words. It's kind of a bit masochistic or something. I enjoy the struggle of it. I like looking up new words, especially adverbs. I think they're my favorite. Like always, never, words like that. Anywhere, nowhere. I really like words like that in other languages and learning what they are. And you can only do that kind of once. Once hear the new word once. So that's been fun. So I'm still doing that with Finnish. And I started a new course in Finnish. Before I go on, I'll just say that a great part of my study is YouTube and some Netflix and some things with SBS here in Australia. This is a multilingual language um, television network, SBS. I also have been a member of Audible for a long time, probably almost 5 years. So I'm signed up to Audible, and I actually have two Audible accounts. And if you're not already on Audible, I recommend sign up, and you probably will get a free audio book. And I think it's really great it's a great resource for learning languages. They have a lot of stuff on Audible. So the latest thing I'm doing with Audible is this Finnish course with Pimsla. So Pimsla is not my favorite method to learn languages, but with Finnish, there's not many else available. There's very little that's out there. So one of the other Finnish things is too bit too advanced, or a couple of them are rather. So I started with Pimsla, and actually, for the price, I think it's kind of reasonable. I like listening to audio because uh, you don't have to, like, I spend a lot of time on my computer throughout the day working, And with Audible and audio things, you can be lying down on the couch and listening to it there, or in bed, or driving, or wherever. So I do tend to do that a lot, especially in the beginning phase, to build up some vocabulary. So that's what I'm doing now with Pimsleur in Finnish, and I'm about a quarter of the way through, I think, the course, and it's okay for the money. I mean, before Audible, before the internet, all these resources, Pimsleur used to cost a real lot of money before. Like, I don't know if it was $300 or $500 or $800. I don't know, but it used to cost for the full set. It used to cost shitloads of money for some of these courses. I'm talking 20 years ago, 10 or 20 years ago. Well, not 10 years, 20 years ago, let's say. They used to be very expensive. So now you can sample it for free and get a 5-minute sample. Well, here's the thing. With Audible, it's linked to Amazon, so they have a very good refund policy. If you buy something and you're not happy with it, you can return it. Well, you can basically ask for a refund. And I've done that in the beginning and asked for refunds when I'm not happy with things. And generally, yeah, I've been hooked onto Audible now, so I'm a paying subscriber for a few years. You can actually pause the subscription, which is good. You know, you can pause it, and if you then if you pretend to cancel it, they'll give you maybe a lower price and things like that. So that's what I do. Anyway, so I'm with Audible, and yeah, these audio things that you can get on there are pretty good, and they have a lot of selection. In Finnish, I'm doing Pimsleur. The other good news I have this week is that I started to look at Japanese again, because I've been feeling a bit unmotivated, well, very unmotivated and very negative about that. Like, I'm never going to learn that language, and things never go according to plan. I never seem to progress. In fact, I get worse. I forget things. It's because I don't do it regularly enough. Then I get into this sort of I wouldn't say depressed mood, but I get into a very negative mindset, and that it's a downward spiral. I don't ever feel like I'm getting anywhere with that language, and it doesn't encourage me to continue. So what I've discovered is that I was doing Japanese with Behind the Wheel series, which I'd learnt with, I've done the Spanish course with that, I've done the Italian course with that, and the Russian course with that, and it's been pretty good. Although with the Russian course they didn't go into cases. But anyway, so I tried the Japanese course with Behind the Wheel, whatever, and because that's one of my favorite systems, and something, it's not really working. That it's taken me 8 hours listening to the whole course, 8 hours, to realize that it doesn't quite work as well as the other languages. And I think it's because a couple of the words, the lady, although she's native Japanese, she speaks a little bit too fast. So it goes from too slow to too fast, and sometimes I just never catch it. And no matter how many times I listen to it, a couple of phrases, like I think it's I have to, or something like that, I'm just never going to get it. The way some people speak is just so fast, you can't isolate the syllables. So the good thing with this Pimsleur is, for example, is that they do say the syllables rather slowly from back to front. And anyway, so the thing is, what I'm saying is, I had another look on Audible for new Japanese courses, because I'm thinking something's not working for me right with this Japanese, and maybe it's not me. Maybe it is actually the study materials I'm looking at. So what I did was I looked on there again, and there's a lot more to choose from in Japanese because it's a more popular language. So I had a look on there, and there was this course on there from what is this person called Paul Noble at Collins. And I've seen some of his things before. I think he started with um, other other Romance languages, and I saw that you could get that in Italian a while back. Anyway, I saw this new course that was in Japanese. Well, it might be not be that new, but anyway, I didn't see it before. So on a kind of a whim, I thought I listened to the sample, the 5 minute sample, and I thought that sounds like a reasonable speed. You know, the Japanese speaker was a bit older, you could tell, and I thought I'm going to buy this because I had some credits, and I bought it. I bought 3 extra credits. That was one of the things I bought in the last session of the Pimsleur. And I started this Japanese course with Paul Noble, and it's actually quite good because I'm answering the things correctly, and they're speaking slowly enough, and I feel like, yeah, I'm getting a more positive mindset back again about learning Japanese, and so it's good. And I've done about 2 hours. I'm about 10% of the way through this thing. It's about 12 hours long. And I can actually listen to it a little bit faster than I should. I can listen to it maybe at 15% faster speed. That's the other thing. The nice thing with Audible is you can ramp the speed up or slow it down a little bit. And to save time on that, it's a course that's 12 hours. To save time, if I think if I think it's not going to affect me understanding it, I speed it up. I speed it up 5, 10, 15%. And not too fast in the beginning, but I think 15% is kind of faster. So it's 1.15 ratio. And then you save maybe 1 hour of time over the whole course, or a bit more. So that's what I'm doing, and I think I have about 9 hours left or something. And I do feel like I'm actually learning things. He starts with these so-called Japanese particles in the beginning, which I didn't really understand before. Like, I understood them, but I could never remember them. And so I think the most important thing is, yeah, I seem to be getting it, and it's going in my head. I'm remembering it, and there may not actually be that much vocabulary with this course. I don't know, but even if there isn't, I think my attitude has changed a bit, and I've become a bit more positive about Japanese, about learning Japanese, about, well, the potential. So that's a very good thing, because I was in a very negative mindset before, and it's not good thing when if you've successfully studied like 3 other languages, and then one of the languages you don't seem to be getting anywhere. I think sometimes it must be me, or am I not really interested in this language, or what's going on? Like, why am I not progressing? And then I started to think maybe I'm not as interested in it as I thought, or something, and I'm having all these doubts. And those sort of doubts are not good, because it's all too easy to quit. It's very, learning a language, especially a difficult one, if it's true that what they say you need 2,000 hours of practice or whatever to learn Japanese, it's just so easy to quit. It's so easy to just, you don't even decide to quit. You just don't continue. And so the default is quitting. And it takes a lot of effort to continue for years on end. And anyway, so I'm very happy about that I found this Paul Noble's course, and I'm going to continue with that. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say today, just that I'm in a good mood this week, and it is, sometimes I have better weeks than others, but this week has been quite good, and yeah, I think everything's going well. So that's all from me today. Thank you for watching. Bye.